Alright, so this lesson is on two main things. Firstly, we're going to talk a bit about the tiens, or the three major energy centers in the body. And secondly, I'm going to talk about the head, because I think there is a lot of either it's like astrological alignments or something else going on relating to the head right now. So, the tiens. Now, excuse me, I only have my mouse to draw this, so it might be a little janky, but the belly button's pretty much here, and the pubic and genital region's kind of there to give you an anatomy. More or less the lower belly region. You have this spot which is the lower dantian, or the lower energy center. Now, the most relating organ would be your bladder, while similarly the most relating organ for the middle is the heart, and then the brain for the top one. So that means the lower one also, it does relate to the bladder, and it relates to the bladder meridian. Now, the bladder meridian, to give a basic example, this is the back of the head, this is the arms, the body. The bladder meridian looks, oh geez, that's pretty, yeah, give me a second. Alright, more or less I don't know if it runs through the head, but pretty much the back of the body, the two back areas of the body. So it goes through like the lat region, the back shoulder, the back of the neck, lower back muscle, glute, hamstring, etc. While the heart meridian runs through the underarm, under forearm, a small finger. So basically the muscles, pectoral muscle goes to the pec muscle, the tricep, the lower wrist muscle, and the pinky finger. That's all the heart. So if you have weakness in tricep, pecs, and the lower wrist, the forearm muscle, then you have a weakness in the heart. Or if you have a weakness in the back, usually most of the back muscles, then you have a weakness in the lower dantian or bladder. Similarly, if you have strong or weak arms, that means you have strong or weak middle center. If you have strong or weak legs, again, strong or weak lower center. Well, the head is, the head, so depending on your sensory ability will depend on your, head center. So, usually it's good to have some balance between these. Otherwise, if you just focus on one of them, you can more or less become that kind of person, or just strengthen that area. And it can work, but it's not the greatest thing, because you will lose out on certain areas. An example being, the lower center is related to lower class people, the middle center is related to middle class, and upper to upper class. The lower class people rely mostly on their physical body, their stamina, endurance, their ability to, toughen up and defend against, basically shit. Having to do shit jobs, all that kind of stuff. It's very low class, and it's related to the lower center. The middle class is much more social. There's an interesting thing about how different people in Japan would hold their pipes. The peasant farmer would hold it at the absolute. Here, I'll draw a pipe for you. It's good enough. The peasant would hold it here at the absolute, but the samurai would hold it kind of around here. The peasant person, the village person would hold it here, and the gambler would hold it at the end. So it kind of shows the different parts. Farmer down here, warrior kind of at the belly region, peasant person around here, because again, the people who spend their days, having to talk to others, having to negotiate in the world, in the society, are more here. And then the mind, of course, is your sages and your mystics and magicians and anyone who takes on a mental, very intelligence-based role. So essentially these middle centers will be the central point of these, again, here, central point of the head, central point of the upper torso, central point of the lower torso and legs, or arms and upper torso, legs and lower torso. See where you're strong, where you're weak, and such for this. And you will understand these centers more. Anyway, going on to this, looks a little bit complicated. I'll have to simplify it later on. Right, so this isn't complete. There's probably more centers. Honestly, it kind of, to me, it looks like an 8-pointed. It's like you've got one there, one there, one there, one there, etc., etc. Now, this is a head turned sideways, you know, eyes, it's like the nose coming out and the mouth, the chin. There you go, and you've got your ears. So it's like that. Actually, this one might be easier. So, okay, so the most simple centers that we have: eyes, ears, nose, mouth. Touch, I guess you could relate to the chin, maybe. I don't know. Sometimes I can feel things with my face pretty well. So these areas, like this area here, as we see this kind of area here, this one's a different one, by the way. But this ear area is where your hearing is. This eye area is where your sight is. Similarly, your imaginary sight is kind of in this area as well. If you focus around your eyes, you can see, and if you focus kind of behind the eyes, it's almost like imaginary sight, or around the eyes as well. Similarly with the ears, similarly with the nose area, similarly with the mouth area, and yeah, I guess with the chin area as well. So it's like feeling. So you can kind of focus more on your feeling and physical objects if you feel the chin. Now the voice, of course, is around kind of here. You know, it's the throat, the whole throat, even the lower portion. Now, why is this important to know these regions? Well, if you have a problem specifically with these regions, and you can focus on these areas and heal them. The way you do that is you simply just focus in the area, and you just keep infusing it, which is like continuously feeding it blood, essentially. You're focusing your energy there, or your energy is your focus. It's all related, it's led by it. And then the blood will be led to where you are focusing. And you're just continuously feeding it blood, nutrients and such, through your focus and energy. That's the best way I can describe it. And you just keep doing that for quite literally hours and days and even years, depending on how bad the problem is. Hopefully it doesn't take you much more than a day or a week or a month. But that's how you do it. Now, let's get back to the other centers. The back center is so the way I see it is like the back is more the memory. I believe this is where the memory is, the kind of mid-back head, while the lower bit, which I think is the cerebellum or the cerebrum, I forget which one, I think it's the cerebellum, is more the instinctual subconscious drives, things like just subconscious feeling and kind of subconscious intuition is more there. Now, so if you have a problem with those areas, then yeah, there's a center here. I'm not quite sure what it's for necessarily. It seems to be kind of like the gateway to dreams and the other world, so to speak. Like this is where the soul can go out. I know it can apparently go out as well to Baihui at the top of the head, but I think it's something to do with that. Anyway, the middle center in the middle of basically the brain, the middle of the brain, is your kind of logical thinking, your kind of imaginary. It's like where all the senses go back to. This is like the center of the head, the I guess you would say the soul center, you know. the sea of the soul, or whatever, I don't know, seat of the soul, or the spirit, depending on what words you like to use. If you have a problem there, mental issues can spring up from a damaged area here. Problem thinking can spring up from a damaged area here, so focus on that. Again, imaginary sight is more around there. This is kind of like the will, the mental faculty of pushing forward. It's also the active intuition. Okay, so that's what the back one is. This is passive intuition. This is active intuition. And up top here is just pure intuition. This is kind of like the heavenly, the most spiritual, this is pure intention, intuition, where you can feel pure intention. So it's good we work that out. So again, top is the highest spiritual level of the head, pure intention, intuition. Middle is more the sensory domain of the internal mental imaginary world. Lower is the lower subconscious world of voice, feeling, taste. Taste and touch is a lower sense because it's interacting usually with a physical thing, unless you're tasting spiritual things, which is nose. That's a little higher up, though. Sometimes smell is debatable as a lower sense. And then, of course, the subconscious kind of things. I guess this is like the ruler of the subconscious body, as in like it keeps your heart ticking, keeps you breathing, keeps you. I dare not say more because you might stop doing things subconsciously. So yeah, I hope you kind of get that. We have the three levels: the positive, negative, and positive, neutral, and negative, and then you have neutral, positive, and negative. So you could, if we had a square, we would do it like this. There, true neutrality is in the middle. Positive neutrality, negative neutrality, negative, negative, positive, negative, positive, positive, positive neutrality, positive, negative, neutral. Oh wait, I gotta. No. Okay. Negative, settle, negative, negative, positive, and then negative, neutral. Okay. Do note that this is the side of the body. You could also, the side of the head. You could also have, you could also break it down into, one of these. The eyeballs are here. The nose is here. The nose there. The mouth. It's a weird emoji thing. The temple, again, temple related to intuition. The middle of the mind, again, related to, and this would be positive and neutral, depending on if you want to call the left or the right. It depends on the polarity. I'll do that in another video. I hope you kind of get this. Just play around with these areas and try to heal these areas if you have a problem. And now you should understand, that you've got all of these faculties of the brain and such. Anyway, that's all. Yeah, have a good day and check the links in the description if you're interested, and goodbye.